Once again, good morning to all of you. I would take privilege and pleasure to invite Chairperson Dr. Santosh Panda to chair the panel discussion. The title of the discussion of this session is Difficulties and Successes in Implementation of Yoga in School Education. Dr. S. Panda, Chairman NCT. Before that, I would like to give the introduction of Chairperson. It will be my pleasure and privilege. Professor Santosh Panda is an economics honors graduate with MA Education and MPhil in Education, and after obtaining PhD in Education in 1984, started university teaching in the Faculty of Education, Kurukshetra University, the same year, and joined the Indira Gandhi National Open University in 1987 to become a professor in 1997. He has a certificate in Education TV from BBC UK and certificate in online teaching from University of Maryland, USA. Currently, he is the chairperson, National Council for Teachers Education, and a statutory body of the Government of India, New Delhi. His past positions includes Director, Association of Indian Universities, Director, Staff Training and Research Institute, IGNOU, Founding Director, Inter-University Consortium, IGNOU, Director, Institute of Flexible Learning, University of South Pacific, Fiji, Senior Fulbright Scholar at the University of Mexico, USA, and Visiting Adjunct Professor at the University of London, UK, Manchester Metropolitan University, UK, University of Maryland, USA, and Beijing Normal University, People's Republic of China. During the past 30 years of teaching and research and administration, he has provided consultancy for British Council, Commonwealth of Learning, IDRC, UNDP, UNESCO, World Bank, Ford Foundation, and governments of PR, China, Nepal, Lesotho, and Nigeria, and Government of India, UNDP, on training of bureaucrats for distance and online training. He sits in the editorial board of over 55 internationally referred journals, including Merlot, Journal of Online Learning and Teaching, USA, International Journal of Education Media, USA, International Journal for the Scholarship of Teaching and Learning, USA, International Review of Research in Open and Distance Learning, Canada, Journal of Research in Learning Technology, Rotary, UK. His latest books include Planning and Management in Distance Education, London, Rotary, 2003, and Economics of Distance and Online Learning, New York, Rotary, 2008. I would request Assistant Director of Research, Professor R.S. Vogel, to felicitate Dr. Professor Panda. With the permission of the chair, I would go ahead for introducing our panelists. First panelist, Dr. B.P. Bharadwaj. Professor B.P. Bharadwaj, Professor Brahm Prakash Bharadwaj, Head of the Department of Teacher Education in CRT, New Delhi, PhD in Education, postgraduate in English Literature, MA, PG Diploma in Yoga. Dr. B.P. Bharadwaj is working in NCRT since last 12 years. NCRT is the advisory board to MHRD, Government of India. Professor Bharadwaj is involved in a number of conferences, both national and international, as keynote speaker, panelist, etc. He is involved in a number of flagship programs of Government of India in the area of school education and teachers education. He is involved in NCT Regulation 2014 and is a member of the Joint Review Mission in Teacher Education for centrally sponsored schemes. He has contributed immensely in the area of innovation and experimentation in schools and teacher education. He has worked in the area of yoga education. Professor Bharadwaj has coordinated the conference of CERT directors. He is the supervisor and the evaluator of research work, PhD, etc. at various central and state universities. He is also expert in the panel of various selection committees. He was also a panelist in 2006 International Conference at Kaivalyadhama. As a member of the focus group of National Curriculum Framework 2005, he contributed in the area of health, physical education, and yoga. Presently, he is involved at various consultative meetings at district, regional, and national level for proposed new education policy, NEP. And once again, I request Professor Vogel to felicitate Dr. B.P. Bharadwaj. Now moving to our next panelist, Jyoti Bajaj, director of the Yoga Kids, Toronto, Canada. Jyoti Bajaj, certified ERYT 200 and early childhood educator, is the director of Yoga Kids, a program designed to empower children through yoga in Toronto, Canada. She is a renowned yoga instructor and author of 3 children's books. She has over 7 years of yoga teaching experience and was trained in philosophy of radiant chain yoga by children's yoga pioneer Shakta Kaur Khalsa herself in Kundalini Yoga, as taught by Yogi Bhajan lineage. Bajaj's primary area of interest has focused on physical, social, and emotional well-being for children parents. She is very active locally and internationally, and through the Yoga Kids works with Greater Toronto area schools and other institutions to provide children with fun, enriching yoga experiences through school resources programs, private classes, and social events. Bajaj teaches locally and internationally and is an active advocate for physical, mental, and emotional health through yoga. Again, I would request to felicitate Jyoti Bajaj. Now we are going to the last panelist, Dr. Murthy. Dr. A.M. Murthy completed MSc Yoga in the year 2010 from Tamil Nadu Physical Education and Sports University, Chennai, followed by Diploma in Yoga Education in the year 1982 from GS College of Yoga, Lonavala, Maharashtra. He conducted many research projects which focused on treatment and rehabilitation of patients suffering from asthma, diabetes, and psychosomatic disorders, stress, etc. by equipment. He has also published 2 books, namely Yoga and Relaxation, and Anatomy and Physical Health Education and Yoga Practices. I would request Professor Bowen to felicitate Dr. A.M. And I'm sorry, we missed the information that he is a Vice Chancellor of Tamil Nadu Physical Education. I'm very sorry for that.
But we say that in the school, there must be yoga education. What does it mean? One, that every teacher who is teaching in the school must also know yoga and practice yoga. 2, there must be specialized yoga teachers in the school. And if it is so, we need to have specialized yoga education institutions, if we need specialized yoga teachers, specialized yoga teacher educators, specially designed the curriculum for yoga education at different stages, starting from preschool education to higher education. Preschool education doesn't necessarily mean those 3-4 years old kids will be doing yoga, but those teachers will be teaching, preparing teachers for preschool. And the teachers will be teaching, and the teacher educators will be preparing teachers to teach preschool children in the kindergarten. They all need to know yoga. So, before we get into a national policy on yoga education, we need to ensure that the nitty-gritties are in place. What does it mean? That we need to define yoga teacher as a cadre. And whatever I will speak, it will make sense from the structure and management point of view, because this is what is needed. That we need to have yoga teacher as a cadre, which doesn't exist in the country right now. If it has to be done as a cadre, the cadre has to be from preschool education, kindergarten, which you and I all send our children to kindergarten, to preschools. And almost all preschools are in the private sector today, not in the government sector. So starting from preschool education to primary, elementary, secondary, senior secondary, which NCERT deals with, and the teacher educators, which NCTE, which I represent, deals with. If we need to have a yoga teacher as a cadre, then we need to have the courses of study, certification, equivalency, and so on and so forth in terms of credits, but also we need to have the minimum qualification, the recruitment policy, the scale of pay, the promotion, welfare, retirement, gratuity, and so on and so forth. Why? Because the cadre is created by the government. The cadre is not created by private. Let's be pretty sure. Whatever the private does, that's fine. The cadre is created by the government. So once that is created, the private, of course, forms in, and the private could have a larger chunk in the cadre, but the cadre is created by the government. And therefore, our responsibility would be to ensure that those institutions which bring out yoga teachers themselves who get degree and certification, and those who get into the system, the school system to become yoga teachers, they all conform to the minimum established quality benchmarks, norms and standards. In this case, yoga education. So therefore, within a minute to conclude, therefore, besides curriculum and so on and so forth, we need to address seriously that how yoga education would become a mainstream educational discourse. How yoga teacher would become a cadre, which is not right now in the country, and therefore how yoga teacher educators, teacher education institutions, and so on and so forth would become a reality. I will just, within a sentence, complete what we have done, and there will be detailed presentations on that. Professor Murthy, the Vice Chancellor of Tamil Nadu Physical Education and Sports University, is the chair of our Physical Education Committee, the regulator. What they have done, that they have 2 years diploma in physical education, 2 years of Bachelor of Physical Education, and 2 years of Master of Physical Education. All the three, they have not only revised, enhanced the duration, but also trying to bring in more integrated, after plus 2 a 4-year integrated physical education program, but also Bachelor and Master's a 3-year integrated. Those who commit to become physical teacher educators need not go through the longer duration. So if it is so, they have introduced yoga education in both, in all DPEd, BPEd and MPEd. What we could do, that when on the Justice Burma Commission, the former Chief Justice of India, the late Justice Burma Commission, the entire teacher education was being reformed in the country, we could succeed in introducing yoga education as compulsory for all 1.4 million teachers who come out every year to become future teachers in the country. This is the only organization, regulator, which has made it compulsory in the country. We're still waiting, the University Grants Commission and so on and so forth. They would make it compulsory, but we will make it compulsory, meaning thereby, we have not said that we are bringing out yoga teachers. We are simply saying that we are bringing out teachers. Every teacher, each teacher must know yoga, must practice yoga, and therefore eventually might facilitate students to also practice yoga. But as it was told in the morning, as much as, or not so much as, facilitating every student to yoga, because if you want to create a yoga teacher as a cadre, the responsibility of a yoga teacher is to teach yoga. But then this teacher, every teacher, 1.4 million teachers every year, they need to integrate yoga with all the benefits that were told in the morning to facilitate them to do effective teaching and learning, and therefore influence students to be also better citizens in future. As part of our curriculum, what we simply did, not only made it compulsory, but also we said that this would form an essential, which is accessible. The assessment is built into this, and therefore curriculum and so on and so forth, that this would be an essential component of social and life skills. This is a lifeline. So this is an essential, foundational, lifeline program or area of study for all teachers in the country, including teacher educators. Therefore, it is not surprising that we had a small committee headed by Professor Nagendra, the Chancellor of Vivekananda Yoga University, as the chair. And I will read out, and it's a very serious thing, because as a regulator, what we do, it will have implications, because otherwise, anybody, everybody so willing, can go to the court of law to challenge yoga. Which I'm very happy to say that we have successfully done this all over the country, made it compulsory without a single litigation. It does make sense to me, at least. Without a single litigation, we have been able to do it. But by doing that, doesn't make any sense. It doesn't mean anything unless we take it forward, implement it, and ensure that the implementation has been successful. There is an impact on what you have done, and therefore the transfer of learning is possible to the actual classroom teaching when the teachers come out, which generally doesn't happen. So we had Professor Nagendra, Chancellor SPS as chairperson, Swami Atma. You see, my difficulty was I never knew yoga. Forget about yoga education. And those who have been involved in yoga education. But when we said that if we would like to introduce a B.Ed yoga education, for instance, does it make sense? What these teachers will do? After 2 years of B.Ed, now B.Ed is 2 years. A lot of you went around the country while we have announced the duration of 2 years, you see. So, what do you do after 2 years? After a graduation degree and then 2 years of yoga education, what do you do? Unless there is a cadre to become a yoga teacher in secondary education. Elementary, primary, in secondary, senior secondary, and certainly preschool. So therefore, my responsibility was to get to know, which I think we did a pretty good job, it seems, get to know what the best people and best schools of thought in the country, put them together, and then bring out resources which could be authentic and which could be helpful for teacher educators and teachers, future teachers, to authentically engage in what is called yoga education or yoga. So therefore, and it was very difficult to bring these people. Professor Murthy is a witness to this, to bring these people together, different schools of thought. And but somehow, I will say two things before I read out the names and conclude and invite Professor Bharadwaj as the first. No, Mrs. Bajaj is the first speaker. You see? Mrs. Bajaj is the first speaker. I should go by the rule book, so as a regulator. So, two things that we did. One, that to the committee, I tried to, in folded hands, convince that this is not a place, regulatory is not a place to fight. It is a place to fight. Regulator only fights. There's all court cases and all kinds of things. But then this is not a place to fight about yoga education, but to decide for the country what would be the best, comprehensive, but then sufficient input that will get into make a teacher, a good teacher, a teacher educator, a good teacher educator, which will be yoga education. Therefore, we had the SVSI University, Professor Nagendra as the chair, Ramakrishna Mission Vivekananda University Vice Chancellor Swami Atma Priyanand. We invited Swami Ramdev Ji, but he deputed Professor G.D. Sarma, the Dean of Yoga Science, Patanjali Yoga Pit. Swami Mangala Tirtham, the Bihar School of Yoga, is no more, I am told, in Bihar School of Yoga. O.P. Tiwari Ji, Secretary Kaivalyadhama, Ishwar Basavareddy, Director Morarji Desai National Institute, Rajiv Mehta, Chief Secretary Iyengar, Iyengar Sahib is no more, Dr. Chinnamaya Pandya, Vice Chancellor Dev Sanskrit Vishwavidyalaya. So these schools of thought, there could be many, which I do not know, but I thought these were the best schools in the country, and which joined together and within seconds, the result that we all joined together to design a minimum curriculum and syllabus because the curriculum we have divided into theory, practicum, and internship. In a 2 years of B.Ed now, a 1 semester equivalent is compulsory school internship. And therefore, after plus 2, it would take 5 years to do in a law school to become a lawyer. We have said after plus 2, we put in at least 4 years to become a teacher. So we are bringing in more integrated, and therefore yoga education is fitting into this integrated program. That's the first thing. The second thing I would like to say, that in my council, which is the supreme body, when I took yoga education, I found so much of resistance, as much easily the different schools of thought agreed to develop a comprehensive yoga education system, module, or whatever you call it in the country, to bring out yoga every teacher, that every teacher practices yoga. We're not bringing out yoga teachers, we're bringing out teachers who would practice yoga. It was very difficult in my council, which is almost dominated by, of course it's not, the more progressive people, so-called progressive people, but we are now less progressive, by the way. So therefore I argued the case. They simply said that, what is this yoga education? You are bringing religion into the discourse, teacher education discourse. I said, sir, with folded hands, you have been my teacher. You had only selected me as a professor in the University of Delhi, which I didn't join. It was good that I didn't join. Because if this is the kind of view which comes from the University of Delhi, it is good that I didn't. That's point number one. Point number two, sir, मैंने तो हिंदी में कहा था, मैंने कहा सर गुस्ताखी माफ करिएगा, कहीं इधर उधर चुप हो जाए. As far as my understanding goes, I do think, and I'm pretty sure, that there is nothing left or right in yoga. स्वामी रामदेव ऊपर काम करवाते हैं तो दूसरा नीचे करवाते हैं, कोई इधर करवाते हैं, उधर करवाते हैं. It is more than 3D. There is nothing left and right in yoga. Professor is an extremely senior most professor, is the former director of NCRT. People know he just quit my council in protest. He said that we all have to do yoga. Yes, we all have to do yoga. When every student runs, every teacher must run. When every teacher runs, the teacher educator must run. When the teacher educator runs, then the whole system, including educational administration, must run. So therefore, everybody must do yoga. Next time when the honorable professor met me, he says, Dr. Panda, he never tells me Professor Panda, I don't know why. Never recognized him as a professor. Simply says, Dr. Panda, it does make sense what you said, that there is no left and right in yoga. By the way, I have also started doing little yoga. I don't know what is little yoga, but he said, I've started doing yoga. Thank you very much, sir. I invite Ms. Bajaj to 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes presentation.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jyoti Bajaj. I'm an early childhood educator, handwriting specialist, and a yoga teacher specializing in children's yoga. For over 8 years, I've been teaching children's yoga in the school system, and specifically in the context of the Canadian school system. Today, I'll be sharing some of the challenges I have faced as a service provider. I know many of you were here yesterday for the panel discussion, and the group was divided into the policy makers and then the administrators and the service providers. As a yoga instructor, we fall under the category of service providers. So as a service provider, what challenges I have faced and what successes I have encountered, that's what I will be sharing with you today. So first, a little pop quiz for you all. All right, what pose is this? Anybody? Virabhadrasana.
Virasana.
No?
Warrior pose.
No? No? It is Anakin Skywalker, Jedi warrior. That's what we call it in the kids' yoga class. The next pose. Any guesses for this one? Raise up your hand if you know the answer. Anyone? Any guesses? This pose is R2D2. Star Wars. That's what kids relate to. Since now you're getting the hang of it, I'm going to demonstrate a breath. And I think you'll be able to guess what we are doing here, since I gave you the name of the theme. Any idea what breath is this?
Oceanic sound.
Oceanic sound, okay. Darth Vader.
Yes.
Exactly, it's a Darth Vader breath. So in the children's yoga class, all the names that you are using traditionally gets changed to what they are familiar with. So they can recognize, they can relate to it. That's very important. So demonstrating this gives you an idea about, how children's yoga is. This is one of the biggest misconceptions that I faced as a service provider. When I started calling the schools about 8 years ago, they asked me, what are you going to do with the kids? For half an hour, how are you going to make them sit on a mat? They couldn't believe that they could do yoga. Because the traditional concept of yoga is that for half an hour or 90 minutes in the yoga class when the adults come in, they are sitting on the mat, they are not really communicating with the person next to them. They do their practice and they leave. But in children's yoga, this is now how it is. We communicate, we cooperate, we play games, and we make it yoga and we make it fun. That's what yoga is in children's yoga context. I'd like to share how I started my journey as a yoga instructor. I was an early childhood educator, and my previous background is accounting and computers in the bank. For 10 years, I worked there. And when I became a mother, I stayed home and took some time to spend some quality time with my son. One day he asked me, Mom, I want to learn yoga. I want to do yoga. What you are doing, that's what I want to do. So I said, how am I going to show this 4-year-old how to do yoga? I wanted to make sure that I teach him the right techniques. I wanted to make sure that I have the know-how of how to work with a child. So I started looking up online, and I found a yoga studio that was offering a family yoga class in my community. And I quickly called them up, told them that I would like to bring my son, called some of my friends and their children, and we very excitedly went to the yoga class. It was a 90-minute yoga class for the family. And out of that 90 minutes, 60 minutes, we just sat on the mat and did nothing. We just watched a beautiful acrobatic show. Kids came down and said, Mom, I can't do this. I didn't like that answer. I didn't want that experience to be the only experience for him. So I started Googling again, and I looked up online, and my mentor, Shakta Khalsa, was coming the following weekend to Toronto to teach a kids yoga training. It was a 30-hour training for 4 days, and I quickly signed up for that. And I learned the techniques, and I learned how to work with the kids as well. So coming back home, I designed a program, and I called it Kali Yoga. The program that I designed was based on handwriting and yoga. What I was also finding working with the children in the school, that they had very bad posture. And due to that, they could not sit for long periods of time, they could not focus, and they could not write well. I'm not not sure about the Indian system, but in Canadian system, we get marked on what we put on the paper. So if I'm not being able to put what my point across on a paper, I might get a lower mark. And it was not that the child could not understand the concept, it's just that they could not write and sit for long periods of time. So I was able to incorporate yoga for 40 minutes. In 20 minutes, we did the fine motor skills to strengthen their handwriting skills and to teach them how to have the proper pincher grip. So that was the first program that I implemented in the libraries. It was very popular. And most of the students in my class were boys. And I guess they were having a lot more issues than the girls. The parents, they quickly signed them up. From there, I started to approach the schools. I must have called about 100 schools, calling them every day, and most of the time they hung up on me, but I didn't give up. I was very determined to bring this yoga to more and more children. So a few schools accepted, and I was very fortunate to teach a few students at a time and give them the skills that I found that will be helpful to them in their student life. I didn't want to give them things that are not. Hello? I didn't want to teach them things that are not related to their everyday life. So coming back to what is important to them and how to relate to them, that's a big component of children's yoga. That's one of the difficulties a lot of the instructors can face. So relating the yoga to the children. So everybody does pranayama here, and a lot of the times we don't know how to relate it to the kids. So we started with a simple technique called balloon breath. Making our arms like a balloon, counting to 3, and bringing them down to the count of 3. So that was our beginning practice. And what we told the kids is that when we have any kind of test, any kind of anxiety, that we need to center ourselves, we can come back to our breath. This is a tool that is with us all the time. We can do it in any space. So they were able to relate to that. So just to get back to another story, a child came and told me, Miss Yoga, they call me Miss Yoga. Miss Yoga, I tried that balloon breathing and it didn't work. And I said to her, did you try it when you had a test? She said, yes. And I said, did you try it when you didn't have a test? She goes, no. I said, you've got to practice when you don't have a test so you get the feel of how the breath feels like, so you get the practice of it. So it's important that they know when to practice it, and you as a teacher has ability to roll on that throughout your classes. And I'm glad that that we are working with the teachers and bringing it to the schools, because you are there with the children all the time. You are spending every day with them. So this is a privilege for you to be able to give this gift of yoga and bring it to the kids. My second big question that I asked is, are you going to do any mantras in the school? So we are not allowed to do mantras in the Canadian school system. So we use breath as a tune-in strategy. And the other sound that we use is the hummingbird sound. So all the kids can participate. There is no objection, because we have all cultures or religions in the school. So that is, what I guess get asked most of the time from the schools. Many of you know the physical benefits of yoga, and some of them I have listed in here about that. Of course, it develops the core strength, improves posture, balance, coordination that we need in everyday life. Psychosocial benefits of yoga includes creativity. It reduces impulsivity. It makes children think about their actions, about their thoughts. One of the things that we incorporated in our yoga program is called random acts of kindness. a student has to perform an act of kindness, and they have to write it in a journal. So when they're writing in a journal, they're not just describing, I held the door open for somebody. We have to describe it with the feelings, how it made me feel. So I'll share a story from a boy who had written some information in his journal. It was Christmas time, and we were doing this journaling. And during Christmas, the schools have a lot of programs where you bring shoes, you bring wrapped gifts, you can bring your old jackets, and that gets donated. So this boy had to donate a pair of shoes, winter boots. And he's happily walking, and he wrote in his journal, first he didn't want to leave. So like, why the hell do I have to go and give this pair of shoes? I have to walk all the way down and miss talking to my friends. But as he was walking, holding that pair of shoes, because we were going with the feelings, he started realizing how this pair of shoes can help another child, how it can make a difference. It's not all about me, it's about the world. So as he was putting down the shoes under the tree, he wrote down, a tear rolled down his eye. And that's what yoga is, taking care of our community, taking care of each other. More than the asanas, more than who you are. Some of the educational benefits, enhanced learning attributes. We all know yoga. Yesterday we had some researchers here, and they were talking about what yoga can help in education, and the research has been done a lot on this. I don't know exactly about the math scores, but definitely it has improved the concentration, and that's why they've been able to solve the problems, in a more efficient way. So coming back to again, realizing how all these benefits transform in a school. These are very abstract, right? So school is a real life example. When you go to a yoga studio, it's a controlled environment. Everybody's quiet, everybody's silent. You walk with your bare feet in a very nice manner, and you sit quietly on a mat. When you go to teach classes in a school, you're going to come in interaction with real life situations. For example, I was teaching in a school, and we were teaching in a gym. The gym had a stage area, and the other side of the gym was being used as a practice for volleyball. It was a lunchtime program. And the only thing that was separating us and the volleyball students was a thin curtain. So you can imagine the noise, you can imagine the sounds we were hearing, and how difficult it would be for us to focus and concentrate and do our practice. But that's what real life situations are. When they are in a classroom, they get distracted by the simplest sound, which is coming from outside, or honk, or maybe a boy tapping, a noise of a fan. So there are many sounds that kids can get distracted with. So I'm here teaching a class, and I'm thinking how I am going to make them focus inwards, because there's so many distractions going on. And I saw it as a real life example, and I just started teaching a class, and I said to them, what kind of sounds they hear when they're in a classroom. And they started naming. Just like that, I said, we are hearing sounds today. We're just going to close our eyes for a moment, and we will hear the sounds of the balls bouncing in the hallway, in the gym. Let's focus on that sound. The kids started focusing. So maybe you can hear kids running. They started focusing on that. From there, I said, let's take our attention to the hallways. What you hear. From there, let's take our attention to the playground. Maybe feel the sun shining on you. Maybe feel the air. So we went really outwards from where we were. And then slowly I asked them to bring their attention to their breath and start focusing inwards. And they were able to do that, all 15 of them. And they told me, Miss Yoga, we didn't hear any sounds after you brought us inwards. So that's the power. That's the power that you can give those tools to the kids to be able to focus in different situations and be able to apply. That's very important, that they should be able to apply in their everyday life. Another story I would like to share is, I have more stories, 2 more minutes, so that will be this will be my last story, I guess. I was teaching a group of girls, teenagers, and one day I was teaching and we were doing the guided visualization during our relaxation time, and the girl was lying down and I saw tears rolling down her eyes. Didn't say anything in the class, and the class got over, everybody left. The girl came back and she gave me a hug. And I said, is everything all right? She said, yes, and thank you. And she started sharing. She said, I was getting bullied, and somebody had said to me something 4 months ago. And during your relaxation, you just asked us to let it go. And I felt relieved. So can you imagine, for 4 months, that child was carrying emotional burden? Do you think their performance is going to be great? So yoga is not only physical, but mental and emotional detox, that you can help your students to feel and relieve and remember who they are. They all have an inner guidance. They all have an inner wisdom, and that's what we need to trust. Just like the birds, they know how to fly. They know how to get their food. We are there just to guide them, but they need to tap into their inner guidance, and that's what yoga does. Thank you all.
President Bharadwaj, Head Department of Teacher Education, NCERT.
Before I starting the present scenario in school education in India, I'll just narrate only 1 or 2 in sentence. There was a meeting at NCTE regarding this regulation committee, which Professor Panda has told you how he struggled, but I was a part of that meeting too. The meeting was supposed to be for 2-3 hours. It went up to 8 p.m. No decision, no conclusion. It continued next day, Saturday, no decision. Again it continued on Sunday. I remember that meeting. So the issues you can think in India, in education, to introduce yoga in school and teaching, how difficult these decisions can be. If anybody help me to know about this country, I am very proudly say that I have never visited any country. But out of 36 states and union territories, I have covered 33. Right from the school, can you imagine a government school? How many students can be there? Minimum? 60 you are saying? Good. Anybody?
120.
Minimum I am talking, minimum I am saying.
Oh, minimum?
5? Good. But I have not visited that school. 5 hands.
About 100.
As a NCERT representative, I was at near Manali, one village called Koti, the last habitation of the Kullu district. The authority did not allow me to go that side. They want to take me in some good school where I can take a tea or something else and that the report can be concluded very well. But I politely said, I want to visit that Manali site, that Rohtang Pass. They were so happy. When I reached to the last habitation, I gently asked them, can I go to this village? I want a cup of tea. Sir, nothing is available. No, nothing is there here. But even then, I had been to that village and I find one teacher, 11 students, 6 girls, 5 boys. And that was in the veranda in 2 rooms. And the class was going on and midday meal was preparing on the sideline. And the teacher was so attentive, she gave the work to the students and all the students almost were engaged in the classroom. And the community was so supportive. Soon they came to know one army gentleman, retired person, he came. He discussed with them. Within few minutes there was a cup of tea. Can you think? Any school can be without community? How many schools we are having in India? Any idea? 5 lakh, 10 lakh? Tell me. 14 and odd lakh schools we are having in India. 14 lakh से ज़्यादा schools हैं हमारे भारत में. And different kind of schools, some are the autonomous in nature, like Kendriya Vidyalaya, Navodaya Vidyalaya, Central Tibetan schools, Sainik schools, army schools, government schools, private schools. One side from very huge that even some more than 50,000 rupees per month expenditure of that school, and small you can think in your habitation or anything. Such a variety of schools we are having in India. Teachers, can you imagine? More than 80 lakhs. 82 lakhs teachers we are having in this country. About 50 lakhs are working up to primary and upper primary level. And there was a decision, that yoga will be implemented through health and physical education teachers. There is no health and physical education teacher is available up to the elementary level in most of the states. How yoga will be implemented? I was traveling in the metro. One student told, I'm just, that NCF 2005 when we were developing, we never gave any solution to the students. We gave some situations. You can arrive their own conclusions. I have no remedy. Professor Panda has no remedy. Nobody is having. Till the community on this program, till the school on this program, till the government on this program. Otherwise, it is very, very difficult to have anything in the syllabi, to decide anything at policy level. It is very difficult to reach because the ground scenario is very, very different. So, earlier there was a CAB committee decisions that no physical education teacher will be up to the elementary level. Primary almost we are not having in almost all the states. So how this will be implemented? We thought in the 2014 regulation, Professor Panda has told in details, but I will take it further some. And can you think of the students students in schools? Any imagination? In total students going to schools? About 25 crores students are there going to schools in India. We are having 250 million. Professor Panda has helped me. So, about 14 lakh schools, 82 lakhs teachers, and 25 crore students. We are preparing good teachers. We are giving teacher training, that pre-service, in-service, and whatever it may. When I was traveling in metro, one student asked me, 2 students were just saying conversation. I'll take it within 2 minutes because this issue is very much related with teacher preparation. One said, my physics teacher is very good. When he speaks, everybody listen like last student, and his communication skill is very good. But when he comes to solving the numericals, or period is over, he is not able to solve the numerical. The other student said, my mathematics teacher is very good in subject, but we don't know what he is speaking. He solved all the questions, but we don't know what he speaks. We could not solve. So these are the two major skills to be developed in the pre-service teacher education. One is the content knowledge and another one is the communication skill. Of course, many other things are there to reaching to the student's level and whatever it may be, the pedagogy interventions and others too. The scenario is like this. When we are giving full 1 year training to the teachers and they are in the profession for more than 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, even then they are not able to teach the subject in an effective manner. They are not able to reach to the students. So how difficult this will be, the teaching and going yoga in every schools with a program, minimum program, but nothing succeeds like success. To be hopeful and ever be hopeful. With this motto, we work together. Professor Panda, being the chairperson of the regulatory body, he such a cool person and academically such a sound, who has come out with these difficulties. This is the total scenario, friends. I'm just shared with you. This is the situation in the school. We are having only 10% teacher education institutions in the government domain. More than 90% are private. When our child is there, we are putting him in a best school, that is private school. So soon he completed 12th class, we are looking to IITs. We are looking to AIMS, we are looking to any good institutions. They are all governments. But up to school level, no government school is required. This is the tendency of almost all the parents. It is because that what they want, that is not going on in the government schools. What they want, that is not there in the government schools, and teachers are not, they are well qualified. But why the learning is not taking place? That is another big question marks to us. When it comes to graduation, post-graduation or whatever it may be. I don't know about the best institution, whether you take any college in Delhi, whether it is the SRCC or Stephen or Hindu, they want, every parents want that their award should be there, admitted there. Similarly, IITs, medical college and so on. But the school situation should be how we can improve these situations. This is another question. Friends, एक सीरियल आप देखते हैं चाणक्य साहब ने लिखा कि शिक्षक कभी साधारण नहीं होता, निर्माण उसकी गोद में पलता है। मैं परलय की बात नहीं कर रहा, उन्होंने दो बातें कही हैं कि निर्माण और परलय उसकी गोद में पलता है। Similarly, I have my own this strong feeling that अगर वो निर्माण करना है बच्चे का, the values has been developed, उस बच्चे के अंदर उस मूल्यों का विकास करना है जो ऋग्वेद कहता है कि let our action speak। हमारा आचरण बोले, उस अध्यापक का आचरण बोलना चाहिए। तो योग निसंदेह हमारे करिकुलम का एक पार्ट होना चाहिए और वो किस तरीके से हमारे विद्यालयों में आए, उसके लिए हम सभी को तैयार होना पड़ेगा। We have some interventions at the policy level, but you are only and you can take it further, because We have some restrictions, but there may not be any restrictions on you. So I have another ask to you, here a request to you that we have started something. We have moved just one or two steps. You are here to take forward that. Some of the government initiative, why this? We are having 25 crores of students in schools. You know that Government of India initiative is there. SSA, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, RMSA, Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan. You must know, friends, that government is taking some initiative and you are the part of that initiative. Then we developed, friend, NCF, National Curriculum Framework, which talk about the students' autonomy, his thinking ability, and no road mapping. Then we had for the teacher preparation 2009 NCFTE. Now again RTE Act has come 2009, which give the accountability of the parents and the student and the teachers too. These are some initiatives. This JVC Justice Verma Commission report was perhaps a report which guided our 2014 regulations, which talk about the in-service teacher and pre-service teachers. NCERT, being the advisory body to Government of India and working in the area of school education, has brought out 4 curriculums, and you see in almost all the curriculums you find that yoga is having appropriate place in 1975, 1988, 2000 and 2005. And we 1986 policy, again that in-service and pre-service is an inseparable part that lead to the professional development of the teachers. Now we are moving again to this new education policy, that proposed new education policies. NCTE initiatives are very much appreciated, and being the regulatory body, they are in the field. Now, friends, comes curriculum and pedagogical studies. How this curriculum should not be a burden to the student. What pedagogical interventions one teacher should. If yoga can be very difficult also, and yoga can be very easy also. It is the approach, what approach you are taking to the classroom, to the teachers, and that is the same in all subjects too. Engagement with field. What is our proposed action plan, that when we are going to field, how the students in 2 years training, they will go for 6 months to the field with the schools. What interventions will be there? What they will be learning and what they will be doing there in the school. Like other professions, medical doctors, we have tried to increase the span of the program, getting experience in the real field. This is now the strength of this teacher education programs. NCERT started in 1963 itself, the 4 years BSc B.Ed and BA B.Ed programs. Now it is strongly felt that hospitals, the medical college must have the hospital attached with it. We visualize it in the 5 decades back. All RIs, Regional Institute of Education, is having one demonstration multi-purpose schools. Now it is thinking that if a teacher education institution should be there, the students should practice, the laboratory should be in a school where they can feel that they can go and they can learn something pedagogical issues. That is coming out. This 2-year period, of course, we started in 1999 also. Now this is some of the latest teacher preparation is there, but friends, one sentence reminded me. It was said by Kothari Commission, one who dares to teach must never cease to learn. We are sitting here in this hall. I know Professor Bijlani is there, Dr. is there. They are all established person in their fields, but they have something to us inside to learn something. And you are all similarly like to us. You may be master of anything in your field, but you have something that I can get something new from here. With that us you have here. So one who dares to teach must never cease to learn. When this will be the motto for teacher education programs, the teacher itself. Many things we are learning from students, from our children. Frankly speaking, many things we are learning. Does your presence make any difference or not? In a school, if you are principal or head of the institutions, Does your presence make any difference is there or not? आपकी presence class में कुछ difference लाती है उस बच्चे के लिए या नहीं? That is the real, that if your presence has some difference, then you are there. Otherwise, there is no need of your existence.
Can we ask some questions?
See?
Can we ask some questions?
At the end. Thank you very much. I got some time and now I'm grateful to this organization, Kaivalyadhama. And friends, in 2006 I had been here to these institutions, and I really feel some more that institutions if work in this area like this, we can be like this. I conclude this one saying only in Hindi that यह पथ का उद्देश्य नहीं, यह पथ का उद्देश्य नहीं इस शांत भवन में टिक रहना, किंतु पहुंचना उस सीमा तक जिसके आगे रहा नहीं. That should be our motto. That in Kamayani Daljas के प्रकार है written this. यह पथ का उद्देश्य नहीं शांत भवन में टिक रहना, किंतु पहुंचना उस सीमा तक जिसके आगे रहा है. Thank you very much.
First of all, pranam to Swami Kaivalyadhama ji, Swami Digambar ji, Tiwari ji, and especially school. A lot of you, we have come because of them. First, my thanks goes to them. Honorable Chairperson, my friend Bharatwaj and Mrs. George from Canada, my friends. I know many of you, I don't want to name because Chairperson told I have to take very little time. Okay, today we must thank. There are 3 persons in India. First person, we had a lot of trouble to go to the council to introduce yoga. I was presenting. 30 persons were in the council, everybody is against yoga. You know, lastly what he did, oh, very good. Come on, what's next order? In such a way we got it. We have to lose one important things when we pass this yoga. That anyhow we have to change again that regulations on BSc physical education is eligible for MPA. Because everybody wants that one, not the thing. The basic thing is that we are not understanding what was the past, what is present, what is the future. Student is a taker, teacher is a giver, parents is an administrator. This is a challenge today we are facing, not only in India, all over the world. That change, when narrated, he told, even Professor Banda told in the thing, it is not, I am not taking yoga. You are also not taking, your children are taking. There you hit the point. That's why they lastly agreed the things all the secretaries were there in the first meeting, secretaries of higher education. Then that is a point back to it. Today we have to see this problem. First thing I must appreciate our Chief Minister who has made compulsory for all the schools 10 minutes they have to go for yoga. When you make compulsory, definitely they will do it. Otherwise it's a very, very difficult to have. If you make an examination subject, nobody will learn the things. If you tell +2, it has got 100 marks for yoga examination, everybody will go because they will get more marks. But yoga is not merely in the classroom teaching, it has to be in the practical. Overall, everybody has to do it the ground with some hospitality like that. I'm not going to, some of the slides I will show was in the last I wanted to say. How the students are facing challenge. Did the students, the teachers, all the teachers, at least lucky the NCT has introduced for the B.Ed and the MS students for the yoga. All the teachers must know yoga first. Then only they are the things, givers to the students and takers. If they, without knowing the teacher, if you ask them, physical education teacher will teach the yoga, they will teach. No doubt in it. But general education teacher, all the teacher learns the yoga, even B.Ed and M.Ed problem when NCT prepared. Naturally, all the students, they will give the things. And other things, we should not go too much. Pranayama, kriyas, then what is the Dauti and all the things. Simple yoga practice for the children. You enter that one. The parents, another thing, I will tell you what are the scientific, I have not done my department of yoga, Dr. Yoga and other people did some of the research. They gave me, I am talking to you. See what happens, the parents should be educated properly in yoga. How? We must tell them, hit the point, they are all psychosomatic disorder person. Your kids will be the asthmatic people. They will be in diabetic mellitus. Today you can see all over the world the diabetes mellitus and psychosomatic asthmatic and also cardiac problem is more. You see, how many of you are practicing, how many of you are not having the package, either upper back or lower back. My friend Dr. Vinod is sitting, we know from long back. We did a lot of reception package. Tell me, one of you. You must tell the parents your kids will get it, the package. They will get automatic. They cannot write an examination in the public exam. They cannot go to the medical college or an engineering college or law or anything, any professional colleges. If they are sick, how can they? Here the yoga will give you a lot of things. That way you have to educate to the parents. They are not administrators. Teachers is a giver. Students is a taker. This is a challenge you can face it. Of course, I will show you lost. These are all some of the things. What was the past they have given me? What is at present? Come on. Keep on moving the slides. One or two I will explain. Yes, next. You can watch. The important things, 35% of the children have less lung efficiency. You have to tell the parents. Without breathing, how can you do it? She was talking about the breathing, my friend Bharat was also talking about the breathing. You must tell, they are weak. How can they sit in the class to listen all English or maths or computer science or whatever, geology or physiology, whatever things are, they cannot do it. And another thing, these 43% of children have no fitness to sit in the classes. It is highly impossible. They are not sitting. See, why the suicide game comes? Because the parents are telling, no, you must get first mark. Everybody cannot get a first. When you are run a race, only 1% get the race winner. Can everybody be a winner? Like that, it is not possible. You tell them, hey, study man, whatever possible manner you wanted to study, study. That's what yoga comes. Yoga never tells you, go up, go down. When you teach in the beginning of yoga, that tells you how your kids should be. Then another percentage, I'll tell you, the children, now India, I'm talking about India, not foreign countries. There are more people are suffering, the children are suffering diabetes mellitus, type 1. And another 40% of the patients of the monsoon-related disease. Tell any one of your kids, your own parents, when monsoon comes, the rain comes, without God you are covering it. Can they go with the rain? That the situation comes when you do yoga. You see some of the good yogi never wears anything. That things will come for the defense. That is all. Next slide. Most of the children today is a stress-oriented. Hypertension. A small children has a pressure, that is diastolic. Systolic you can reduce it. Diastolic is very, very difficult to do. Here the yoga comes to relax the stress and as well as diastolic pressure. My friend we did long back, long ago. Then, next. The yoga day, this is really we must thank the Prime Minister of India who made it globally. And yoga that was 21/6/2015. All over the world. The people are coming, including Prime Minister. Is that a teacher must do practically. The students can come. Even principal to teacher, they have to come. See, next. See, enrollment percentage of the student is 96.5%. 80%, my friend told, percent are government schools. The lakhs of people are studying. And did any government school have a teacher? Teachers are there. Buildings, not there. Even building, you take under the tree. That's why I'm telling all teachers must get a yoga training. They never feel stressed. They never feel anything. That's what I'm telling statistically. See, dyslexia. Today you see, the less learning people, you be any higher, CBSE or KB or any school, the persons are not having learning skills at all properly. Because we cannot blame the students, we have to blame the parents, we have to blame the teachers. Teachers also we are not giving the proper training to the teachers. Once we give the training to the teachers, when the parents are good, then it will be solved. And this is very important. The research, our department people have done about neurological research. In that you must tell the parents, I do not have time to explain all the things. I will tell very little things, how the neurology, the brain, the yoga helps to improve the kids. What? See, for brain is meant for the cognition. Midbrain fibers information. Hindbrain controls physiological function. Physiology is a very important, the functional aspect is less. It is highly impossible. Many people are having acidity. Many people are having gastritis. Many people are having ulcer, duodenal ulcer, peptic ulcer. Why? You are all thinking of topmost thing. Everybody thinks, but how can you eat? When you eat little, in the timely, yoga tells you proper time. Proper timing you eat very simple food. That cannot create acidity, hydrochloric acid in the stomach at all. That has to be there. That you have to teach the parents. The kids, they are going to the school. No, you take little bit. No, go to school. Doesn't matter. You are not empty stomach. You are sending your own boss to the school. How can you expect they will go? The hydrochloric acid will be segregated more. They will within no time, a year or two, young children will get gastritis. There will be trouble, stomach pain. How can you rectify these things? Do yoga, that will be reduced. Yes, yoga enhances. I told you yoga enhances. These are other things. Yoga enhances gray matter of cognition and white matter of communication. My friend was telling communication skills are very poor. Our brains are not educated properly. How can you say that? I will talk, you will be talking, and I might talk, you may not understand. That is a communication which should be. When grey matter is developed properly, through your only you can develop. That I will quote, example Dr. B. Ramamurthy, neurosurgeon, Dr. Baldev Singh, AIMS, I was only very simple assistant with them. When we did that early, AIMS the research on the brain, really it's a wonderful things they have done. Yoga is the only thing which can help for this one. That's long back. And this yoga purifies that nucleus which is meant for emotional. How many children today you see everybody is still and here and iPad and TV, everything. No. You see that one. Your children, you are allowing them. Have you taken at least one day out? You are busy with the earning. You are going to the office, your wife is going to the office. That kids are only looked after by the servant maid. It is a very, very difficult. Then lastly you say, my son has gone like this perverted. It is your mistake, parents' mistake. One day you spend with your children. Take Sunday or Saturday. Take them out. Tell them. These are the nature. This is yoga, man. This is the thing. Why do you keep on these two earphone and seeing the TV? Oh, don't you think that it is really? I can tell you, my son also I cannot control. Really, that is a medicine. It's an MBBS. I know. I told them, his mother, they have to take one day, at least. I'm not having time. I'm spending more time here. No Professor Pandasa knows. But at least he is taking one day. Then, the yoga purifies this also, I told you, emotional. See, everybody getting abused. Your son, when they're seeing the iPad, no, I will switch off this internet. He or she will throw on your face. Emotional stability, it is not. There yoga comes. It gives you emotional stability. Next. This is a very important. Today, all over the world, they have stem cells. This is a new research. Now, one of my closest friends supposed to come and concluding function is the pioneer of the stem cells. Unfortunately, he has to accompany with the Prime Minister. He is not coming. He was taking. We will let him be also there. We go on.